Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today we are once again going to be working on the hashtag ABC April 2025 challenge, hosted by Seven Plaza and Crafty by Tony. I almost said Created by Tony. Crafty by Tony. Links in the description. Today is the letter V, and they have a prompt list for the month, just to kind of get our juices going and be able to play with stuff. It's definitely been a fun month. I've been using some stuff that I have never used. Not never used, but had bought and had never used what I gotten, and just playing with it. So it's been a month of fun. So today, V, Victorian, Vintage, and Vellum. So I was thinking about some stuff, and I know I had some Vellum, and I searched and I searched, and then finally came across a package of Vellum I had. I did open it up, so I had 20 changes. I was looking to see if there's a date on this, because I'm sure I got this back in my scrapbooking days. So its stuff's pretty old. So yeah, Vellum. It's fairly thick. It's not totally thin. It's a nice weight Vellum, and yeah. So I thought I would play with some Vellum today, as well as playing with frames. Now, if you saw the video for you where I did using up my stash, I did pull out these frames. I did put one on my Tim Holtz journal, and I thought, well, I really haven't played with these, so I thought, what better use of using the frames and putting some Vellum behind them and making some sort of like specimen slides, tags, cards, just a whole bunch of stuff. So I was thinking about doing that. So let us get started. Now, the first thing I thought of doing was creating sort of like a specimen slide for butterflies and using the Vellum. So what I came up with was this, where I used the frame with the Vellum, but I did make it double-sided, and it is clear. You can see that is, frosted clear, but it could be used as a, maybe attach it as a flip out somewhere, or maybe even put a charm in there later so that it can go. Yeah, just a fun little thing to put into a pocket somewhere, but I thought it'd be fun to make this. So I'm going to show you how I did this, and we are going to start with 2 frames the exact size, and my Tim Holtz obviously does not have 2 frames the same, because they are all unique and different. But this package I had gotten from Temu had lots of duplicate frames in there. So let's see if we can track down. I think I still want to do an oval because of the butterfly wings. And well, might as well just use those 2. I did the ornate one on that one. This one's less ornate. Let's use that one. All right, so the other thing that I needed for this was mirror image of something, so I could put it one on top of the other for that. So I did have these sheets of butterflies that were stickers, and they did have mirror images of things. So unfortunately I used that one already, so I'm thinking I'm going to use maybe these 2. That would be kind of cute. Let's do that. Now, one thing I did do on these, because they have the white edging, is I did, you can kind of see on here, I did go through and use my vintage photo just to grungy it up a little bit. And get this one before I take it out. It's a lot easier, I found, on stickers to grungy it on the page before you take it out, and it's all flippy floppy. All right, those 2 are grunged. All right, so I have pre-cut a sheet of Vellum already into some squares that I feel like should be able to go behind here. So I don't have to go and cut these. I'll have to trim pieces off. Obviously this I made squares and I have oval frames, but I'll be able to trim that off. Okay, so for this one, what I did was I took the piece of Vellum and I put to the one side down and just took the mirror image to put on the other side, so the Vellum is stuck in the middle. Now, I was thinking if you wanted to have the Vellum on the outside, you could stick the stickers back to each other, and then put 2 pieces of vellum, one on one side and one on the other, and have it between. But for this particular one, I have the butterfly on the outside. All right, so there they are, pretty good and pretty stuck. So I'm going to take and just glue. Just going to glue the circle closest to the hole opening, not the edge just yet, because I need to go back and cut the trim off. So I'm going to do my best to center this as a pretty frame. All right, and I'm going to just make sure it's all squished. I'm going to take my scissors and go through, and I should be able to lift the vellum up just ever so slightly to be able to cut the excess off from here. Okay, now it doesn't matter if the edge of this vellum is not stuck down, because we're going to put this other frame on here and it's going to glue the rest. So we're going to just put some glue on here, trying to get more toward the edge on this version, or this one, and if there was an up or down, I would make sure it goes up or down, but I don't think there really is. And it looks like maybe they weren't cut perfectly symmetrical. They're, you know, Timo, for goodness sakes. They're not going to be perfect, but they're pretty darn close. And anything that is off a little bit with white, I think can be fixed with inking. So we're going to we're just going to ink the edge. Now, if it was sticking out way too much because I was, you know, aiming wrong or whatever, I could go like with the scissors and trim it off. To make it more even, and I don't think anyone would be the word for the wiser. I did miss a little bit in there, nothing I really can do about that, but yeah, so there we go. Double-sided butterflies. Cute, right? Okay, let's move on to my next idea. All right, so the next idea I had was to use my Tim Holtz people to make a frame, like it would be portrait on your wall. And I did back it with some paper for it, and we'll see if we back this one now. We'll see what it looks like. But I did take the squares because I felt that the squares were a little bit more like you would do a formal portrait. And we just need one of those. And I got my Tim Holtz people somewhere. There we are. All right, I did pull out my bigger people because the little people were too small for the photos. Now she could work. I'm not really happy about her hand, but we'll keep her out. Now he would probably make a great photo. Sitting there for his photo. Okay, come here. But I'm not happy where his hand disappears to on that. Okay, but he's an option. All right, let's see what we got here. I have a little girl in her christening gown. Just looking for people that might be, you know, posing for a photo. Posing for a portrait. She's not too bad, but her hands are going to get cut off a little, I think a little awkwardly. So I think her hands disappear too. We've got hand issues. Well, if I put her head right to the tippy top of the frame, I think it'll be okay. Let's just make sure I don't have a bit of a, it seemed like that was the tallest frame I had, and that's why I picked that one. The rest are more, smaller openings. Yeah, those are all smaller openings. I guess I could do an oval. I just picture it when you have a frame on the wall. They're usually not oval. I mean, I do know there obviously are oval frames. But, oh, yeah, she sits nice in there. I guess we're going to go oval. Okay. I like her in there. Okay, let's put the peeps back in their box. Let them go back in there and go from there. Okay, so for these, I did put them on top of the vellum for this. And then I put some paper behind it. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to see how that looks with paper behind it. Is this vellum going to be big enough? Yeah, that'll be big enough. Okay, we'll just have to trim it afterwards. Now, the question is, where do I have to cut her body off? All right, so we are gonna do a little surgery and say goodbye to her feet. Okay, I'm going to just put a tad of glue on this bottom here just to attach it to the frame so we can add the vellum after that. Get her in a good position. That looks pretty good. Okay, and we're going to do the same for this vellum, where we're just going to put a little right along, whoops, right along the center so I can trim the excess, and I am going to glue the back of her so she sticks to the vellum. All right. There we go. Let's see, a little leaked out here, but I think we're going to be okay. And we'll just take our scissors and trim. Now, the backs don't have to be pretty for these because they would be attached as a cluster or attached onto a pocket. So whatever's back here is does not have to be pretty in any respect, just needs to be attached. And there we go. So there she is, pretty straightforward and simple. I had attached some paper just to give it a little bit of life to it, a little bit of depth to it. And the other thing I was thinking of was like a music sheet or something. All right, so I've got a couple here. Just put a little bright music sheet behind it, could be kind of fun. I do have this, but I think I think it might be a little bit big. Oh, the paper's a little small, but I think the notes that are on here are just a little too big. And then I do have this book page. It's ripped weirdly, but I could find a piece that's not ripped weirdly. Book page could be fun to use. But I think I do like this music sheet because it's kind of a little bit brighter. All right, I think we're going to put that behind her. And once again, we're going to just throw some glue on the edge and a little behind her, not on the vellum. Make sure the music notes are the correct way. And there we go. We got some birds chirping outside. I'm telling you, they are definitely starting to get in full swing in the spring right now. Doing their little I'm gonna be a mama, I'm gonna be a papa bird things they do. Yeah, I like the paper behind there. It just adds a little bit to it. So, all right, well, there is that version of adding people. And yeah, those would be fun to add as and you know, you could put some sort of label on there eventually. I have all those, you know, Tim Holtz kind of things when you go to put it down. Add this, make it a little cluster, add some words, something like that. But it's a great little fun start to do. Okay. All right. Next thought I had was I did use the Tim Holtz to make more of a specimen slide where I have the butterfly behind it. But I was thinking maybe to put a flower behind it on this next one. So let me get one of my Tim Holtz frames, and this one's got a lot of flowers on there, so, and so does that one. So let's see if I can find some flowers that can go on there, and we can make that one. All right, so I got this floral sticker book. This could be fun, but it can't be too big. And those are hand drawn. Those could be kind of fun. Oh, I kind of like that one. Let's put a bookmark in that. There's so many different styles of florals in this book. It's quite interesting. They're not all the same, that's for sure. That looks kind of Christmassy. I really like that one with it, but it really just kind of cuts it off. Kind of tropical, not a fan for this. Cactuses, I think you're too skinny. Oh, that's not too bad. It might be just a little too bright of a pink. Ooh, I like that one a lot with that. You're just too big. Interesting. Okay. All right, so I got that one or this one. I really think that one's kind of fun and interesting, so I think we're going to go with this one. I like how it kind of goes into the bottom. Okay, let's go with that one. Now this is on a green background, so I don't think I'm going to ink it. I think I'm going to keep it just the way it is. Okay. And that is the Sticker Studio Floral Book. I think, pretty sure I got it at Joann Fabrics, but this similar to the thing I found at Five Below, or not Five Below, Barnes & Noble. I found a box of similar drawings, so that might be something to consider. All right, so this one I put onto a neutral kind of background so that it can be seen, and put the vellum on top. So do I have that neutral? See, I'm thinking that might be too busy for it, but I wonder if the book page could be interesting. I can move it over, and yeah, I like that. Okay, let's do that. We're going to put this right here. And we're going to have it just a little off center, and I think that's kind of fun. I'm not mad with that. I like it. I was thinking about originally doing it down the center, but I think that's kind of fun with the words there. Okay, let's do that. All right, this is part of my 1734 book that I got. Every single scrap of this needs to be kept. We do not get rid of any of it. That little piece can be stamped on for something. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we need to put a vellum in front of this to start. You're a bit, I think I'm going to do you, but I need to cut you down a little bit wide. All right, that's better. Okay, so we're going to glue the vellum down first, and then we're going to glue the paper on top. So like usual, we're going to just glue around the hole. And I'm just going to put a little bit extra on the outside here because it did go bigger and I don't have to cut any off. Okay. All right, so to make sure this sticks well, I'm going to just once again put the glue just on the outside of the oval. And do my best to line this up. Now it's kind of hard as you're kind of getting it. It's interesting because when it's farther away, you can't see how you're kind of aiming it on it. Till it gets close enough to see. Well, that is fun. I like that. Just gives a shadow of the flower. You can see the words in there. I love it. Yeah, that's fun. Along with the butterfly. Very cool. I mean, these could definitely be put into as a corner tuck for something. I did put the similar, using this photo as a journal topper. This could definitely be part of a journal topper. You know, make something around there bigger. But yeah, those are very cool. Okay, so I do have one more idea that I'd like to try, and that is this one. And this is where I have these washi stickers that I put on that are kind of see-through. You can see they're see-through. And then I have this butterfly, but I also have those, what do you call it? I have the ferns, but I also have these flowers. I was thinking maybe making a little field of flowers with the butterfly instead of that fern. We'll have to see, but that was the other option, because to keep it more clear, to do that. So let's figure out which frame I want to put these in. I did this frame that was kind of silverish because it kind of had a bluish green hint to it, so I thought this would be good for that fern. And well, I don't know why I couldn't do a field of flowers in that. That would be pretty. Button says I can't do that. But it'd also be fun with the width of this. Let's see. Let us see. I don't know if I probably should have used that last. Oh, you are wide enough. But like just wide enough, right? Oh, you are. Yep. Okay. All right, we're going to use you. So, kind of a field of flowers. I don't think they need to be. I don't think they need to be big-headed flowers. I think a small-headed flowers might be nice. Kind of like a wildflower. But if they're all the same size, that might be hard. right, do I want to stick with 2 colors or do I want to add another color in there? I think I might want to stick with those. You know, I do have that purple journal is going to be coming up in a little bit, so not going to hurt to have that. All right, let's go with that. Okay, I think we'll put this in. We're just going to have to trim the, we'll trim the bottoms off and everything when all is said and done. Put that one a little lower. Okay, and I think I'm going to cut this one off of the stem because this can go in front of it. A little bit of static going on here. All right, so the purple. And put that purple down there. It'll cover up that the stem is missing. Okay, now we'll do a little trimming and see how this looks. All stuck to me. There you go. I think that works. I think that works well. Now, if I wanted to get rid of the shine on this, all I would have to do is put a little bit of my matte gel medium on here and get rid of the shine. But for now, I'm going to skip that part. And I mean, I could put another vellum on top and really make it look like a pressed flower. What do you think? I think so. That looks more like a pressed flower. I like it. Okay, let's do that. Now, I'm thinking I have used this glue to glue. So I think I am gonna it does get a little bit curly, but I think I can smash it out. To get all the air bubbles out. And give it more of a pressed look, because they'll be stuck together. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Now, when you work with vellum and you go to glue it down with the wet glue, you have to kind of rub it and play with it for a little bit, because it wants to curl because it's making it wet, but eventually it will stick and become flat. Just takes a bit of time because it's not porous, kind of like paper is. I think it's a little bit, and these definitely look a little more realistic, like pressed flowers, don't they? Especially with the, that's the back side. Especially with the waviness, giving a little texture. I love it. Okay. I mean, it might not be as clear as it would have been if it was just on its own, sitting on its own. Jeez. There we go. You know, I actually have fingernails. You'd think I could pick this stuff up, but no. All right, I think I'm gonna have to cut a little bit of the bottom off. Because I want to give a little bit of more air to the top so that the flowers are not cut off like that, Okay, let's do that. All right, let's glue this on. Put some glue on the edge of the window. And we're gonna go like this so I can make sure I have it centered and giving the top some room. Okay. Yeah, it's a little crooked in the back, but that is fine. Glue it on something. And if I wanted to keep it so it like could be used where you could, you know, take it out and pick it out, putting a little bit of washi tape on the sides, or maybe even, let's just go ahead and see if I've got the opposite side of this one and glue that down in its place. And it appears I do. All right, let's glue that down on the back side just to cover it up and make it be better. Okay, let's do that. All right, so for the ending this one, I am gonna go to the edge here, make sure it is down. Completely. Come on. It is annoying sometimes how fast that glue dries. I am just a hair off on this because it got a little crooked. Let's see if not something that the ink won't fix. If not, I can trim it like that other one. Yeah, I think the ink fixed it okay. All right. Boy, I hope you can see that. It looks very cool up in the light. I love it. Very fun. Okay. All right, was that all my ideas? I think it was. I think it was all my vellum ideas. So I didn't even go through a whole sheet of vellum. I still have, I cut it up into smaller pieces, and I still have these two left for it. So it wasn't even a whole sheet of 12 by 12 vellum that I used to do this. All right, let us do a quick recap on these. All right, vellum, 4 different ideas I came up with for that. And there's, you know, I'm sure a million more. But the first one was to put the reversible images, mirror images, stickers onto, and didn't have to be stickers. They could have been cutouts. A lot of times, sometimes you get those fussy cut butterflies, and they look exactly the same. size, so you could mirror image them on their own and put them between 2 layers of frames. And there we got that. And then this is the pseudo portrait of our lovely ladies. Just realized I did 2 ladies, but putting a background of inky paper onto that one, and this one had a music note just to give it a little bit of texture, but that vellum just makes the background be a little ethereal. Love it. And then these frames where the picture is behind the vellum, just to give it a softer look. I love it. And the background, not too descriptive, of some paper, and then this one with the words. And I just realized I thought I had made one more. Oh, I did. And I squished it down. I'll have to show it. I'm not going to redo that one, but I'm going to show you what it did. And then I have this one that I kept, the washi, fern washi that I have. It's a bit clear with the clearish butterfly on there, just to give it, again, some see-throughness like a stained glass. And then I did this one where I did end up putting the clear flowers on there. I could have kept it simple like this, and like I said, add the Mod Podge, but I did put the second layer on there, and it really does make it look like it's pressed flowers in between there. And I have this one. I had put it under my book because it ended up getting a little too wet, and I think it's still a little too wet. But I used some clear stickers that I have. I've got these square pet stickers, PET stickers, that I created like a little scene where I had some grass with some floral, a mushroom, and a butterfly. And what I stuck behind it was some of my stamped washi tape. So it's kind of similar to this book page in the back, but I put it on there, and I did end up gluing the top of this paper, and I think I put too much glue on there, and it's quite wavy. I ended up putting another piece of paper behind it to give it a little bit of strength, because this was just when I glue that front side, this back side is sticky because it is masking tape. So I put the paper on the back, and it's still a little sticky, but that still could be worked if I worked it a little bit better, where there's still something in the background with some PET stickers on the top, fully shown, versus these PE stickers that have the vellum on top and not fully shown. So same kind of thing, but different. All right, well, vellum frames. I think they're fun. I like them. All right, well, that is going to be it for me today. If you want to subscribe to my channel, see what's coming up, I'd love for you to join. A thumbs up would be great. I am going to be playing with my watercolors for W, and this should be interesting, but I do have a new, that new pad of watercolor paper I got from Dollar Tree. So I actually have the correct stuff to play with along with my watercolors. So I'm thinking about making some backgrounds maybe, and just kind of playing with them. So it could be fun. All right, well, that's going to be it for me today. As usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye now.